guys, we're live here at DraftKings at Casino Queen on this little slow valley of sports. We've got an All-Star game. You know, that was a little NL getting back into the winner circles after, I think, 11 years, I think it was. And then you've got some WNBA, you've got some Summer League. Other than that, it's just it's one of those weeks. But Bill's going to talk some tennis with us. We got Wimbledon action. Get into that, and we always got some futures action on some NFL and some college football as well. Any new information on that, Damian? On the futures front?
Oh, I played a few. Actually, I just played about 4 today. Actually,
yeah.
We'll get to that after the tennis discussion.
Yeah.
I will politely bow out of that because I watch just slightly more tennis than horse racing. Notice, I don't know much about a topic. I don't say much. So we'll let Bill take over.
Well, I don't have to know much about something to bet on it. If we remember, I think people were betting on Madden simulations during COVID.
A lot of esports.
A lot of esports. But
there's even a limit to my stupidity. And it's a very long limit, and I don't even go there.
Yeah. Well, what round are we in the Wimbledon? What's going on with that, Bill?
Yeah, I watched a little bit today. They're winding down. This is the final weekend, so it's a 2-week tournament. They're the last women's side, men's side. Women's today was both the semifinals were played. We had in the first semifinal we had feel-good story. The Ukrainian was Svitolina. So she's a very talented player. She's been top 5 in the world. She actually just came back into she's a mom. She's one of the very few moms on tour. She had her husband is Gael Monfils, player on the men's French guy. Super exciting. One of my favorite players ever. I've never looked him up on YouTube. So, anyways.
So Svitolina's top 5 in the world before pregnancy?
Oh, yeah.
How long ago was that?
Yeah, I think they just had their kid last fall.
Oh.
They just had her last fall, so
okay.
this whole year she's been getting back into the swing of things. And,
it's a pretty big drop-off from 5th to, 75th or
might have lost her ranking. Yeah, or went down to, like you said, top 100, but she, too talented not to regain it and get right back into picking things up. That's why it was such a feel-good story. And then you got the whole Ukrainian thing, Obviously, we're not going to talk about religions, but it was brought up quite a bit in this tournament just because, real quick, last year, they did not allow any Russian players into the Wimbledon.
Oh, that's right. There was a Russian kind of strike or holdout or whatever.
They blocked out the Belarusians.
And the Belarusians, Russians and Belarusians. So there was, it was about 5 to 10 super good players that were allowed to play in it. It was, so this year, it was actually a round or 2 ago, it happened again. You got Ukrainian, you got Svitolina. I already say her name. I'm so bad at the names. Svitolina. She played Azarenka from Belarus, and then after the match, they did not shake hands. And before the match even happened, Ukrainian Svitolina said, "I'm not shaking hands with any Russians in the match. I'm not shaking any hands." So,
what did the Russians report? Did the Russian player say anything?
The Russian player, by the way, was very much come out against him. So I kind of thought it was very bad sportsmanship. That's nice. I know a little bit more about tennis. I did read about that. I thought it was bad sportsmanship because this player made it very clear she was not in the war. She wanted peace between the two countries.
Yeah, it's such a touchy subject. I mean, I think one of the quotes was, she's like, my family or my brothers or dad, the men are on the front lines fighting a war. Here I am playing a tennis match. It just means to go shake the Russians be good. You know what I mean? So that whole dynamic mentality is very, very. But anyways, Wimbledon crowd maybe didn't know that they weren't going to shake hands. They thought the Belarusian turned her down, so they booed her. They booed Azarenka. And the reporters always ask her some dumb questions afterwards. So, anyways, that's a whole separate topic. Anyways, the feel good story. She played today. She played against back to the church. She played 5 schools. This 24, 25-year-old Czech player, and I actually didn't even see the line. I think Svitolina might have been favored. Rivalry schools on fire today.
Yeah, 6-3, 6-3.
6-3, 6-3 got the job in the straight sets. So that was the first semis, and real quick, the second semifinals was you had the African feel good story, meaning just African players that never made it this far to Grand Slam. I think either guys, I think they've had a really good numbers players. It's the first time I've seen those players. Born in Africa.
She's from Tunisia. Basically the same lineage as Egyptians. Right. But yeah, this is her third final in the last 2 years. Has not won yet. I'm guessing she'll be the slight favorite in the match.
Exactly. She won today in her semifinals. She beat up on the Belarusian, another Belarusian, Sabalenka, super talented player, top 3 in the world, who actually won the Australian Open this year. So she's in fine form. So
How do you say the winner's name?
I say it, Jabor. That's how I think so.
Close enough.
I think I'm close on that one. But super talented player, who's got a lot of skills. So anyways, I kind of, real quick, I predicted the line before the line came out for the finals. I think they played on Saturday. I kind of guessed Jordan minus 3.5 games, about minus 210 favor, 220 favor, I think she's minus 3 games, minus 210 favor. So the line is pretty much exactly where it needs to be.
And Sabalenka, 155 favorite, is that right? The latest.
That was probably
Oh, okay. That's probably today.
Sabalenka was probably over Jabor came back. But anyway, so that's the ladies. So that's the final on Saturday, and then real quick the men's semifinals tomorrow. So we'll talk the men's real quick. I think the first one that goes on tomorrow is going to be Center versus Djokovic. So, real big center, young super good players, got Grand Slam winner Rick all over him, tall, lanky dude, big serve. That should be a good match. I expect I just have to take a guess. I predicted Djokovic in 4 sets there. Center's good enough to get a set. Djokovic, man, he's on fire. Real quick, quick funny.
What's the odds on that? I'm just guessing totally. Djokovic minus 400.
That's about exactly right. I think last time I looked at it, it was between 400 and 500.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Without even looking at the lines, you can just kind of like get a feel for it. Like, okay.
Yeah. That's a big number to lay. I know it's joking, but big number to lay.
Right. So that's where it's always. I don't know how long we've been doing this, but you can bet by how many games he's going to win by, right? So if he wins by a breakless rule set, like 7 games or 7 games. Anyway.
Yeah. Djokovic passed Rublev. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
That's a 4 sets, but after the first set that Djokovic lost, which you see this a lot in tennis, I feel like. You feel like you see like a Rublev and Djokovic matchup, that type of matchup where the underdog wins the first set, gets some momentum, and then we wake up back to reality, 6-1, 6-4, 6-3.
Right. Djokovic tends to wear out.
Yeah, he's probably the best in shape tennis player of all time. It's pretty crazy. If you see some of his videos of what he eats, I was famous for changing his diet, going to gluten-free 10 years ago. He slept in those hyperbolic chambers, whatever they're called. He slept in those chambers to regain his energy. He's done this stretching. He's a flexible player all the time. So he's still going, 36 years old. So real quick on Twitter, there's a little interview. So they asked him, they said, "Hey, do you think you're the favorite?" And he just kind of pounds. He's like, "Yeah, of course." He's like, being arrogant. He's like, he said something about son of yeah, I think I'm the favorite. You gotta think about that, right? So anyway, so that's the semifinals tomorrow, and then that's the first one, and then he's got 23 Grand Slams. He's got 8 Wimbledon titles. So
Djokovic has 8 Wimbledon.
He can tie the record for slams by either man or woman, which is currently held by Margaret Court, 24.
Yep.
So instead of laying like a minus 400 to minus 500 number on Djokovic, how can we get that down?
Yeah, I mean, there's those props and stuff like that. I mean, it's just one of those where I wouldn't see much value into it. Once again, the game spread, maybe he's favored by 7.5, 8.5 games. He's supposed to win by a break each set. I personally probably wouldn't touch it.
Or like a Djokovic minus 1.5 to win in 4 sets, or
that still might be juiced up a little bit. It still might be minus 200, 250. So, I mean, those are tricky.
value in the next semifinal matchup.
Right. So you got the other one. You got the one seed actually seated above Djokovic. Just the way it works out. You got the Alcaraz. So I think he's 19, 20 years old. Spanish guy. He's accomplished more at a younger age, almost more than any other player. More so than Federer, Nadal, Djokovic. I mean, I think he's the youngest number one ranked player ever, 19 years old. And he did win the US Open. He's been hurt a couple times, but super talented player. He's going up against the Russian who's got one Grand Slam under his title. He's got the US Open Medvedev. So got a heck of a jump there. Yeah, Rookline.
Sure. Looks like Alcaraz and Medvedev. Alcaraz is minus 250.
Minus 250.
Yeah, I don't think they're big enough.
Yeah,
I believe Alcaraz is even more of a favorite in that match over Medvedev. Alcaraz has just dominated Medvedev the last couple of times they've played. Medvedev's coming off a brutal 5-set match the other day. I said I don't watch too terribly much, but Alcaraz is good. I will tell you that one reason why Alcaraz is the number one seed in the tournament is because Djokovic is still getting penalized for missing the US Open last year for not getting the Croatia. Points have not. Alcaraz got all the points that Djokovic did not get any of those for basically any of the hard court season in the US last year. Djokovic lost all his points for that because he never got the COVID shot and they would not let him in the country to play tennis. So that's why Alcaraz happens to be the number one seed right now, or the number one player right now in the world. It's just simply a technicality. I mean, he's a good tennis player, don't get me wrong, but he's also a specialist on the clay courts. I mean, he's very good on grass, but he's a clay court specialist. He racked up a whole ton of points last year. Djokovic could not play, and Wimbledon has a strict rule where they base whatever the world rankings are is how they seed the players. Djokovic should have been number one seed in this tournament, and he would have been under any other general circumstance.
I agree with that. Yeah, they have a different way of seeing it. I'm not quite sure how all the Grand Slams work, but anyway, he's super talented. He doesn't have a whole lot of grass results yet, just because he's so young. So I'm mistaken. And Medvedev's brought that top 5-setter where he theoretically could have easily lost that match. He was playing a young American, Eubanks, and went to the 4-set went to a tiebreaker. So Eubanks was only hit 4 points away from winning that match. Didn't get the job done at Prison 5. So I don't think he's worn out by any means, but I still like Alcaraz. The value there would probably be Alcaraz.
Yeah, I think the biggest value of the tournament might have been Svitolina upset the Swiatek.
Yeah, Swiatek.
What country from?
She's Polish.
Polish. So Svitolina upsetting the Polish Swiatek. Swiatek was minus 7, I think. Svitolina 490. Big upset there. Big upset.
I know you've been on. I've talked to you. I know you've been on Swag Tech a little bit. You know what I mean? I've been you in the sports book.
Yeah. I don't have to know a lot to bet on it. I'm living proof of that. But yeah, I've had some. I like getting it. I like getting any favorite when they lose that first. When they lose that first game, that first set rather. Yeah, um, they're going to bounce back. That's what you typically think. So you can get some better value. So instead, let's take Djokovic for example. At minus 450. If he loses the first set, it's 200. So then you can pound it at minus 200. I mean, you still got to put up minus 200, but there's very good odds, probably better than minus 200, that he's going to win that match. So you can live bet stuff, and if the favorite loses that first set, then they're going to come back strong most of the time.
That's exactly what happened. He lost the first set the other day, like you said, against Rublev. I didn't see live odds, but yeah, it's going to be nice.
One thing I do know about the guy that Djokovic is playing is he's a huge server. But generally, you got a huge server on the grass. They're going to hold their service games generally. Their weaknesses when it comes to the, they tend to do not very well with tie breaks because people that are servers generally aren't really good on any type of rally. So if they don't get their first serve in tie break, they're in a huge disadvantage. The better player generally wins the tiebreaker.
Yeah, last match against Centerhead against how do you say that? Bill.
I don't. The guy, I've never even heard of the guy.
Suffolin. Wow. So that was an unranked guy that just played way above he's ever for. But anyway, Center had 14 aces. That's a big number, isn't it?
To show how many service winners he had. His service winners basically the same as Mace.
Yeah, I don't think they really exactly track the service winners, but 14 aces, yeah.
Service games. Service plus one. I don't see anything with that name.
Good enough.
Well, service. Oh, yeah.
Aces 14.
Yeah, it's a decent number. That's like 3 a set, 4 a set. So usually, I've seen the other guy, the big guns, at 30 or 40.
Yeah, you get
match.
John Isner. John Isner, good for in the low 30s.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So it's still a good number. Yeah, no, he's a great server.
So that's maybe his strongest point of his game going against Djokovic, I guess.
Yeah, he's has to hold that server.
Yeah. If you don't hold your serve against Djokovic.
And Djokovic is one of the great returners of serve.
How many years does Djokovic have left, do you think?
Yeah, there's a good conversation there. Yeah, I mean, you've seen a couple of these other players.
36 years old.
36.
Probably got a 2, maybe. Federer was 40. And Federer was really breaking down the last couple of years. I would think Djokovic should have 2 or 3.
I mean, he still looks, he's playing amazing tennis. He's won maybe 3 out of the last 5 slams like that. He's won the Australian Open. He won the French Open.
Yeah, he's trying a Grand Slam
He's
this year.
trying to win the Grand Slam this year, which is odds of doing that are still very slim, even though he's going 2 away from Wimbledon. I think he's the favorite there.
And
He'll probably be the favorite.
He'll be the favorite at the US Open.
When's the U.S. Open?
It always starts
Late August.
Yeah, last week of August, first week of September. They always
Not too much of a separate.
They get about 5 or 6 weeks. They come here and they do the whole part. It's called the U.S. Tour. They go to tournaments in Washington, D.C. There's the big one in Cincinnati in the Midwest. They go up to Canada and play. They go play in Toronto and Montreal. I think it's Montreal. They alternate between those two. So, anyways, 6 tournaments of the
And then the U.S. Open's always in.
So, I know golf's always different, right?
Yeah, they moved destination.
Yeah, I believe the British Open's next week.
Well, the British Open always stays at St. Andrews.
There's no, the British Open, they rotate
Oh, they
all
do?
the golf courses. Yeah, they'll play in Scotland.
Okay.
It'll be one of the Great Britain countries.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, I believe that's next week. That's the final major of the golf season.
Right.
Djokovic probably got 3 years, give or take.
Yeah, I'm about to say, once again, he's the best conditioned player I've ever seen. He hasn't really broken down, hasn't missed a whole lot of time. I mean, he's still winning. Yeah, I can see him. Yeah, that's the prediction. I mean, he's got, 23? I mean, he's favored here to win 24 2 matches away.
24th major.
Yeah, not in the bag yet, but close. I mean, I can see him winning another 3 or 4. I'd put his number. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know if they have a spread for that or not. I'd put his number 27 and a half.
I think that would be a good
He's got the men's
Oh, he's
record.
already got it.
He's got the men's record. Marvin Court has the record.
Now, relatively speaking, has he had more opportunities than a lot of guys in the past?
Well, I mean, based on the years and how he's played, yes. But, I mean, they've always had the same four majors.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah, the really interesting parts back in the 70s and 80s. Kind of funny. Nobody took the Australian Open seriously. Like they didn't prepare for it. They didn't even go down there and play. They almost treated it like it wasn't a major. If you go back and look at some of the stats and who played, I mean, it was really weird stuff. Where you could have seen like, the other arguments, Borg retired 25 years old after having won. He went back to back on the French Open of Olympics like 6 or 7 years in a row, which gave him his number was I think 11 or 12. Sampras broke that at 14, and then you had Federer and Nadal, Djokovic, all break Sampras' record. 14, 15, 17, 19, 20. And then right now, as it stands, it's Djokovic at 23. He's one up on Nadal. Nadal's got 22. And then Federer retired at 20 Grand Slams. So, but anyways, the interesting part, Nadal didn't play the French Open a month ago because he hasn't missed a lot of French Open. He missed this one with injuries. So he's missed a couple slams.
And didn't play Wimbledon.
Yeah, Nadal's plan, what he said, is next year's French Open.
Oh, wow.
He wants to go out with a bang, and the French is his best chance.
Yeah, 37 years.
Right. And he turns 38 during.
Hold on, the sound's not.
Yeah,
there it is.
September, so we got to come back on board. I mean, you got some boxers that go into the 40. Talk about that. You got Tom Brady, quarterback.
Team sport.
Yeah, team sport. Individually, I mean, the other that are 40.
So they talk about golf and the mental part of golf, right? Like Greg Norman was famous for this just collapsing on a Sunday under the pressure, right? Because there's so much pressure on a Sunday. You got a one-stroke lead made heading into a Sunday, and just so
A big golfer. Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I've never got into it much. Yeah, very much a game. There's a lot of good, a lot of out there of how to approach it. Speed golf and stuff like you said. Yeah, that's a pretty good one, man. I would have had a better answer for you.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably a lot you would think, like a guy like a guy that's famous that is a big underdog. How much of that just in resets?
It's always kind of win this match. I need to go out there and try to be aggressive and try to play the right way.
Nothing to
Yeah, have to believe you're going to, play on house money or got to play free. You know what I mean? But yeah, he's a lot easier said than done. But yeah, Djokovic is widely. Tennis player of all. He's fighting up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what the. You said tomorrow he's like 500.
Yeah, between there.
So he's probably minus.
That'll get the number down a little.
Yeah, might be a.
Is betting on? Let's see here. Minus 200, I think it says. Let me make sure, guys. I'm clicking on this. Read it here.
Yeah, a real updated line.
Wimbledon minus 200
from the semifinals.
Yep.
From the semifinal minus 200.
So it's probably going to be an Alvarez Djokovic final. Is what it's looking like.
Yeah.
So right now you get Djokovic at minus 200. The predicament is, do you wait? And if that is the final, is Djokovic going to be better than minus 200? I would think so. Would it dip into like minus 175 where you save 25 cents on the line, or?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Yeah, I guess, yeah, that's a good question. I mean, if he's going to be against Medvedev, he'd be a favorite, right? So,
that's true. If you want to take the chance of Medvedev and
I wouldn't say any real great value there. If you're going to do something like that, make it a real small play. That's my advice on that. But
yeah, I would probably. Yeah, I mean, so let's say you're in a situation where you're going to take Djokovic. Do you take it and get a better Perez is going to win?
Yeah, if I just had to make a line before it even happened, I would go Djokovic minus. Yeah, I'd go. I couldn't go any lower than minus. Yeah,
so this is the best value we're going to find on Djokovic, it sounds like.
I would highly assume so.
Minus 200, guys, then as a live futures bet.
In the semifinals. Yeah. Well, yeah, just pretending like you didn't know what we know today. It was Sabalenka was favored going in. Jabeur was second favorite. And you got the underdog. You got Vondrousska actually in the finals. She was plus 450. So, and he's plus. Now she's only plus like 175 or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Wimbledon. Djokovic to just win Wimbledon minus 200. Damien. So would you wait and see if Alcaraz wins, and maybe it thinks it goes into minus 80, 170, or do you just take it now?
Djokovic he'll be a big favorite tomorrow too.
So take it now.
Yeah,
it's not going to get better than minus 200, right?
If I'm going to play it, I would play it now.
Yeah.
I'm just
sport parlays here at DraftKings. So minus 200, Djokovic to win Wimbledon, and then maybe some small stuff tomorrow or something.
Just from what I know, and I will watch some of these guys a little bit when there's nothing tonight. The guy center who's Jokic is playing tomorrow, I actually think he's a bigger threat than either of the other two on the other side to beat Jokic. Sure. The other two are not going to outplay Jokic from the baseline. They're just not. I mean, neither one of them are. I mean, if that guy's on with, I will be good to tell you the truth. One of them maybe gets a set, but the guy tomorrow actually has a chance. He could theoretically win, if his serves were powering and he's that good with it over the whole course of the match. I wouldn't gamble that he is, but I would just say that I believe he has the best chance of the three men to beat him, and I don't think he has much of a chance.
Center 11-1 to win Wimbledon. 11-1.
Right, he's got to get past. Yeah, he's got to get past Djokovic tomorrow. He's got to get past.
He's got to get past probably Alcaraz in the final. So he's facing an uphill battle for sure. Before we take a break, I wanted to ask any type of tennis props or tennis bets that you ever get into that's not just your standard over, under, or money lines.
Just a couple of those futures that I've personally done. You know what I mean? Just the earlier you get a future, the earlier you can get it.
Wimbledon before it starts or something?
Yeah. Yeah, before it starts, way before it starts. I bet you the U.S. odds are probably out of Djokovic to win the obviously, and now there's too many crazy props. Tennis is pretty limited on all the props for the most part. So nothing worth too much value.
Sounds good, guys. Well, let's we're gonna take a break and
I mean, I know a little bit, but that horse was
I've got a golden I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
There you go. Now we're back.
Yep.
Now we're
There
back.
we go.
I don't
This
think
is-
anybody really wants to look at us anymore.
This is what
They
happens when
barely want to hear
this is what
us.
happens when Russell isn't here.
Yeah.
David tries to play producer. For the first half hour, I don't even have the microphones on. We're going through the microphone through the camera,
Yeah.
and I finally.
Hey, you know the
but at least you could hear us.
you know the saying, "Fake it till you make it." You'll
It's not-
get there.
I'm not doing well. The problem is, it's like you can see the viewership go down every like minute. One drops,
Yeah.
and then
Yep.
but Old Faithfuls are still around.
Yeah.
We
Well, what do we
appreciate
got on the tickets, Damien?
Oh, I played a couple more.
I'll
had
be
a-
right back.
Had a good day playing PLO today, so
Oh,
I
sweet,
decided to-
sweet. Little
I
PLO
wanted-
action
I wanted
today.
to bring
Okay.
up a little something. We had a
Nice.
good guy that Dave and I have dealt poker to many, many times, who finished third in the World Series of Poker in the $1,500 PLO tournament.
Yeah.
It was a bounty tournament. He had 14 bounties, from what I was told, to go along with finishing third in the tournament. So Sitar, he ended up cashing out and doing very, very well. And
Yeah.
then another friend of ours that we've dealt to a whole bunch of times at Ameristar, Pete. He's
Pete Brooks.
Pete Brooks. He's in the final 4 tables of a 6-man tournament. He's mid-stacked. I got an update from.
Well, he cashed
Big
in the
Matt.
main event also.
I,
think,
I did not know if he cashed in the main event. I wasn't. I know Big Matt cashed in the main event.
So wait, Pete, it played $1,500 6-man.
Yeah, he's in that. He's in the final 4 tables.
So there's
of
about
that.
30 players left.
No, 4 tables, 24. He's in the final 24.
Oh, 6-max.
6-max.
So that's great. What's first place in that one?
That I did not get that information from him. I just know he's got a pretty nice chips. He's not desperate, not short. So
Let's look it up. They're playing right now, right?
that's what I was told. So I don't have any updates on that, any more updates than that. But I just thought it was really cool that Sitar pulled off a third place.
That's huge.
in that
75K.
PLO, 75K.
Your microphone's way down.
And
There you go. A little more.
Sitar is a guy that we all like.
Yeah, I
at the
love
casino.
Sitar.
We big fans of Sitar. It's nice to see he had a nice payday there, and I have to give him some crap when he comes back. So I'd like to congratulate him for his third place finish and all the bounties he got.
St. Louis has really shown their way to this year.
Yeah.
A lot of deep runs
St-
by
yep.
St. Louis players this year
Yeah.
at the World Series of Poker. I'm going to look up Pete's tournament right now. He said it's the $1,500 6-max.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Now I like I said, I had a nice little run playing PLO today, and I came and
Nice.
cashed. Came and played 4 more NFL bets during the prop bets for the season. One I don't normally play, but I played it. I don't normally like playing overs for quarterbacks or running backs because they're so injury prone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not a big over guy on those positions, but Jared Goff is about as safe a guy. He has no competition at quarterback. I don't have to worry about him being replaced. Detroit's offensive line's very good. There isn't a halfway decent defense in that division. The best defense he's going to play all year is probably Denver's. Since they play the AFC West, he's got a lot of receivers to throw to. He's got running backs to throw to. It's a very pass-happy offense. So I played Jared Goff over 4,000 passing yards.
Over 4,000 passing yards. Jared Goff.
Over
Yeah.
4,000.
Okay, to recapture some of that momentum they had at the end of the year.
Well, he went
Beating
over.
the Green Bay Packers at the end of the year.
He went over it last year, and I believe he went over it fairly easily. And and like I said, there's his schedule this year is even more friendly than the schedule last year. So I really I like what Detroit does offensively. They're actually a fun team to watch. They break out some good fun plays, and they're kind of entertaining. Yeah, that Chiefs line. I expect the Chiefs to really pile some points up on Detroit.
Yeah.
Opening week, I'll probably end up laying the 6.5. I probably should do it right now, but I,
That's in Kansas City, I'm
that's in
assuming.
Kansas City.
Give us our Super Bowl rings night.
On September the 7th. I'll love seeing Detroit. That'll be a fun offensive game to watch. Detroit does pull out some stuff, but so I played that. I played a couple others. I actually went with the under on Devontae. Ooh, wow.
Sorry.
I actually went with the under on Devontae Adams receiving yards for the season. It's a big number of 1,300 and a half.
Okay.
They have no quarterback.
Yeah.
I really wanted to bet Josh Jacobs under his rushing yards as well, but his number was lower than I thought it would be. Adams has no quarterback. There's some speculation that he may end up getting traded. If y'all remember before the season, a couple weeks, about a month ago, I said there are 3 teams that could tank for the first pick in the NFL draft. The Raiders are at the top of that list.
Yeah.
They have no quarterback right now. Jimmy Garoppolo still has not passed his physical. He has like 2 more weeks before they have to make a decision on his contract. Honestly, if I'm the Raiders, I try to do what the Colts did 10 years ago when they sucked for luck. I would do the same thing. If I was the Raiders, I would just tank the season. They got all the goodwill still coming from moving to Vegas in the first place. I would try to lose every game and get Caleb Williams as the first pick in the NFL draft.
All right, Damien, hold that thought. Our friend of the show, Pizza, is calling in. Are you back at Pizza? What's going on?
Oh man, we have so much to tell you.
Okay,
we are currently on day 46 of the World Series of Poker in Las Vegas, so the combination of the World Series of Poker and our show has come to a crossroads. Now we have 3 days to figure out how we leave Vegas. And as you know, we came in a 33-foot-long 1998 stretch limo with a dog. It is broken down, and we are essentially stranded at the World Series right now, living completely off of basically Patreon donations and our fans' contributions to the show and financial help from them. Wow. And so we've had a good run with poker. We're down. So we like to be transparent on the show. So we have 3 bracelet caches. I was able to reach 1 million chips before any other player in 3 different bracelet events, but we never could get a significant win that was like longer than 1 week of being kind of comfortable, So I think we've got 14,000 in losses and 9,700 in wins. So we're down quite a bit, but it's been this really crazy, interesting experience, this mix between living in, so we're in an Airbnb in Summerlin, which is one of the nicest areas of Las Vegas. And we've got this 6-bedroom house and we're sitting by the pool right now. But as you know, kind of our shtick, our whole show is about 2 broke Midwestern idiots going to play the big circuits, So we're out here living in this strange dichotomy of poverty and luxury.
That's what I was
luxury and poverty.
That's what I was going to tell you. Is like, it doesn't sound like you're that broke.
Well, the thing is, we are, though. We're in a big mansion in Summerlin, but, we've exhausted our funds. So what happened is we were supposed to be here for 30 days, but the limo needs a repair that is so ridiculous we shouldn't do it, but we are so stubborn we refuse to let it die. So we're forced now. We have 3 days to come up with $3,500 to fix the transmission in our limo, which is an integral part of our show, like our favorite toy ever. Or abandon it here and fly home, and we are just unwilling to do it. So what we've done so far is opened up our Patreon and donation abilities to our fans, and they have been just an outpouring of love from them. Like, I'm talking thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands a day. But some of them want to stake me in games. Some of them want to put me in bracelet events. Some of them want to buy groceries, but most of them lately, the ironic thing is, we're sitting in a mansion that has 2 frozen pizzas in the fridge, but these people will send us, $900 and say, no, I want you to play I want you to play this $900 bracelet event today. And, who am I to say no? That's what we're here to do. Of course I want to play. But it's like, what? I was like, what if I played this 777 and spent, $130 on groceries? And they're like, yeah, no, just go play, because they want the percentages. So it's been really fun. We embrace the absurdity of it. But the ironic part is we went to great lengths to have our vehicle here, right? We drove 2,000 miles in a beat up old 33-foot long limo just so we had a vehicle here and so we don't have to pay Uber. And on day 9, it broke down, and we're on day 46 now. So even though we did that, we're now spending, $60 to $120 a day on Uber, because how else are we going to get downtown? We're 30 minutes away in Summerlin. So, the bright side is, though, we've been very productive. We've shot 8 to 10 episodes. We've got like a terabyte, like 200 hours of footage for our show. We managed to do this segment about luck called Run Day, where we bailed a completely random man out of jail and spent the day with him. And I'm beyond excited to share that. I think it's one of the most compelling episodes of reality TV ever shot ever. I honestly believe that. We've had comedians from Joe Rogan's podcast and Kill Tony come and collaborate with us. We've met Alan Kessler. We've pranked Ryan DePaulo. We've been on Poker Go and Poker News a dozen times. We met Dana White last night. I mean, we're just out here like really kind of networking and doing our thing. And we've made it to the top 2% in three different bracelet events that had players in it like Jungle Man and Phil Hellmuth and Negreanu was only one of them. But we've had some good runs, but unfortunately making it to the top 2% and winning, $2,000 to $3,000 is not really enough to do what we're doing, be comfortable longer than a week. So I'm paying a crew weekly to be here. We're living at this point, the last 2 weeks, I'd say, completely off of donations from our fans and family and friends. And I think that the mission is accomplished, although it is very still up in the air what the hell we're going to do to get out of Vegas. We don't really know. So, yeah, that's where we're at.
All right, that's 46 days in like 3 minutes. So let me slow you up a little. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I have seen episode 2, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Is that the only one that's released at this point?
Yes, there's 1 and 2, and as I said, we're sitting on 7 to 8 more episodes. Now, the thing about our show is, even though we're clearly some amateur, wild card weird guys, our editor is actually a bona fide like Hollywood filmmaker, and so the problem with our show. It's not really a problem. It's a bittersweet thing. It costs a lot of money to have it produced. So the guy that edits it is charging us basically what we have to pay him to compete with his other jobs, which are, giant salaries on Netflix and in LA. And so we have to pay a lot of money. We're paying like $2,000 to $3,000 per episode, David, to get it edited. But I find that it's worth it in the end to have the production value, because what we tend to capture is so chaotic, and having someone to package it with a narrative and in a really clean format is kind of invaluable. So we're opting to do this. We're all in on this project. We've got all of our money and time from the last year of our life tied into it, and I still fully believe that it will be worth it in the end.
Okay. I love the first 2 episodes, but you've talked about being on Poker Go. Is like we haven't been able to really keep up with you like we should have. I took a 3-week break in June. I was out of town in Florida, and John had to go take a couple weeks off. So a little update on like how can we see your content on Poker Go and Poker News? Because we want to look it up right now and see what's going on with you.
So, okay. Well, so Poker Go has a daily show called High Noon. And it's kind of like their comedic relief poker content. And it's always narrated or announced anyways by Ryan DePaulo. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with him. Yeah. He's kind of the only one in the poker space doing what we're doing, which is kind of a mixture of comedy and real kind of, poker at a high level. And so we've managed to actually prank him. So we've been down here. Let me tell you some of the stuff we've been doing. So we wear costumes and we do characters, and we'll play entire 16-hour tournaments days in a row in character. And the ironic thing is we are actually winning too. So we're out here, sitting at the table with Phil Hellmuth dressed in whatever George Washington cologne. We played the tag team wearing colonial outfits and called everybody peasants. And Louis would wait on the sidelines in the tag team, and every time I clapped my hands, he'd run over and feed me grapes at the table. that kind of stuff. But basically, another one was we dressed up as old men, like kind of like a Johnny Knoxville thing, and attempted to register for the senior citizens event where you have to be 60 or older. Just those kind of pranks in that space is such a mix up from what's normally happening because it's such a serious environment, and it's such a long and grueling day that really you got 5,000 board guys in the room. So we go down there and try to be entertaining. But one thing we've managed to do is keep getting on their shows in different disguises, and they don't know it's us. And so we've managed to do it over and over. We did a segment called Nightmare Poker with a couple comedians from Kill Tony and Joe Rogan's circle of stand-up comedians in Austin. Nightmare Poker was a series of sit-and-goes at our Airbnb with us and several comedians where the loser of the tournaments had to do terrible punishments like get a bowl cut right on the spot, or a face tattoo, or a embarrassing tattoo, or there was tasers involved. You'll just have to kind of see. We'll keep it all a little bit secret, but we've had a mixture of poker adjacent entertainment, but there is some bona fide poker in there too. Because I mean, bracelet events are serious things. They're serious games. We're contending with some of the top players in the world from every country in the world that have come here to play poker. So we got a weird mix. Someone likened it to. They made a good comparison. We're kind of doing the Happy Gilmore of poker. That's kind of what we're going for. We're going in. We're disrupting the culture, but we're also winning. The thing about Happy Gilmore is he wins. So we go down there, and a couple times. There's been multiple poker news articles. It's like Teston and Hellmuth tied for first out of 7,000 players. So those little bits that you're asking about are kind of hidden in the massive space of all of their articles. But you could search my name, PYZZA, in the poker news and poker go search thread, I'm sure, and stuff will pop up.
Yeah, we got it right now. We're watching without the volume. I can't wait to look at it later, and I suggest
if you go to the tag team coverage from the show High Noon on Poker Go, announced by this Ryan DePaulo show High Noon. You go look up anything tag team. Me and Louis actually are in the thumbnail of that video on YouTube. And they had us kind of sit in the back in our costumes and just kind of act weird without saying anything, but just kind of behind them, kind of creepily stand behind them. And we've interviewed with Barstool Mincy, and we've had cameos with Negreanu and Phil Hellmuth and Alan Kessler. And so it's been definitely strange experience, and the only regret I have is that I didn't get a deeper win. Top 2% is great, but you get 120th place, and everyone's like, "Oh wow, 120th." They don't care, but they don't understand. There's 11,000 players is pretty good.
Yeah. So have you kept up with the St. Louis deep runs we've had from people from St. Louis, and also bracelet winner Jason Simon winning $500,000? Yep.
Yeah, actually, I was at the final table with Tachi when he won that, and actually, see now this is my other regret. The limo breaking down really put some monkey wrenches on what we wanted to do, because we had an interview with Jason Simon as well planned, where I know you know this. We built a small poker table for inside the limo. Yeah. We were going to do a series of interviews with big players while I played them heads up in the back of the limo, but the limo doesn't operate anymore, so we didn't get to do those. So it's just been kind of a nightmare fever dream. It's been fun and not fun, and stressful and fun at the same time. It's been miserable and luxurious. I don't know. It's just a strange dichotomy of what we're living at right now. But
so where did the limo break down, Pizza?
Okay, now this is interesting. Okay, so it's a '98 limo that should have broken down at any moment. Like, could have broke down 10 minutes after I bought it in St. Louis, whatever month that was, March, I think. So it broke down in the middle of the desert in Emory, Utah, on the way out here.
Wow, you made it all the way to Utah, though. Hey.
We had not seen civilization in 3 hours, and somehow it broke down at the one single gas pump, at the one single gas station, in the one single civilization within 3 hours of us. Wow. And we were able to fix the serpentine belt and we did it with $51 in 1 hour of time, and then we were back on the road, and we made it to Vegas as planned. And it did not break down until the moment we bailed a random man out of jail to film with him. We had a random prisoner that we just pulled out in the back of the limo, and it started breaking down on a 7-lane interstate. And we somehow managed to scrape back into the driveway at our Airbnb in Summerlin, and then it laid in its final resting spot where it is now. And now we do not. So here's the options we're looking at. We have literally 48 hours to decide. Do we pay $4,000 to repair a limo that we only paid $4,000 to buy in the first place? With money we don't even have, this kind of coming in slowly from donations. We will get there if we choose to do that. 2, we could abandon it and fly home. That's my least favorite option. And 3, there's a place called Battlefield Vegas that crushes cars with tanks and lets you shoot flamethrowers at vehicles. We thought, if I can't have it, maybe nobody can. Maybe we need to light it on fire. We don't know. But that's what we're looking at now. We got 2 days to decide. It's a strange thing to have to decide, but isn't it?
So has anybody donated enough to fix the transmission?
Yeah.
And wait. There's 2 parts to this. And is that the only thing wrong with the limo?
Well, so the other thing that happened when the serpentine belt broke on day 1, actually day 0, was the AC broke. So the 10 days we did have it in Vegas, we didn't have any AC, which I don't know if you've been to Vegas. That's not that great of a thing to have happening in Las Vegas. Now, June, by some stroke of luck, was the coolest June they've ever had. It was actually really fine to have no AC. At this point, it's hot, though. But at this point, we only to drive back in the just extreme heat with no AC. If we could manage to save we call it the Raise wagon. We have a vanity plate coming that's just the word R-A-I-S-E, Raise.
Oh,
like
Raise wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the decision? What are you thinking?
I think we're going to, every time I go out past that driveway and look at it, the thought of leaving, I don't know, if you've seen episode 2, you see how much of an integral part of our show the limo is. It's kind of like the heart and soul of the show. Me and Lou, we drive around in this limo, and we play poker all over the country. And now we've got our cameraman, Joe, so we're a trio now. And it's been a great success being out here in it. And it opens up a lot of windows because people are more willing to work with you or just hop in and do interviews. They just want to be involved when you pull up in a 33-foot long limo. Right. It gets such good footage from it. That's kind of the goal is, get people to interact. And we do a lot of reality stuff, man on the street stuff. And having people want to interact with us is something that is needed, All
right. So when are the next episodes being released? I'm looking
so episode 3 will be covering like the road trip out here, breaking down in the desert and being at peril. Our first couple tournaments that we ran deep in. As I said, I think it was on day 2 we got here, and we entered a $600 deep stack tournament with 7,088 players, and I was chip leader for the first 23 levels. So the whole first day and the whole half the second day, I was not like top 5. I was literally the biggest stack. So the first episode will probably cover that tournament and the trip out here. And then that should be released, I'd say, in the next 3 weeks.
What tournament was that one?
It was a $600 deep stack. I was the first player to 1 million chips, and then 4 days ago, I was the first player to 1 million chips in the Lucky 777. It was $777 to enter, and that one had, I think, 6,000 players, and first place was $777,000.
Wow! And what did you end up?
Well, that's the thing, man. So all these tournaments that I ran deep in, there's $600 buy-ins, $700 buy-ins. I was able to get, $2,700, $3,200, $2,700, but never enough to really be able to breathe and have any room to know, like, okay, are we good longer than this week? Because, I'm paying these guys $700 a week. I can't just pluck them out of their lives and expect them to come play silly games in Vegas for 6 weeks or 8 weeks, without paying them. So we've been out here on a hope and a dream, and it's worked out shockingly well. But we are at a final, we're at a brick wall now. We got to figure out what the hell we're going to do.
Well, all right.
So what did the guy say when you bailed him out of jail? That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, okay, so let me explain that to why in the world that has anything to do with poker. Just briefly, let me say, we did an episode about luck and what it means to poker players to be lucky or not lucky. We explain how luck in poker is called run good. and you can run good in poker, or you can run good in life. Some people aren't running good in life. And the problem, even if you are a master at your game, is you're always at the mercy of luck, right? So it's the one thing that makes poker players sick every single day. That's why they use the word sick. It's sickening to rely on luck. But what if today we didn't get sick because of luck, because we controlled luck? What if we took control of luck? And who needs luck more than the guy sitting in Clark County Detention Center? So we drove down to the Clark County Detention Center in Vegas. We spent a whole day, spent 8 hours finding somebody that had bail. They're like, what do you mean you're here to bail somebody out, but you don't know who it is? I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm telling you. They're like, well, who is it? And I was like, I don't know. You got any Johnsons? They're like, we got like 95 Johnsons. I was like, okay, well, Gary Johnson. They're like, Gary Johnson's a double homicide. He doesn't have bail. Okay, not Gary. I said Larry Johnson. So we go through 60 names until we find a guy that actually has an affordable bail and isn't a killer. We bail him out and we give him the option.
What did he do?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you. We told him, look, man, we can't make you do anything. We're not here to exploit you. This is a comedy show, but the joke isn't you.
So they let you talk to him first.
Yeah. So I say, here, no. This is after we got him out.
Oh,
I said, man, have you ever seen The Matrix? Here's the red pill. Here's the blue pill. The red pill is in my right hand. There's $50. You get in an Uber and go home. Enjoy your freedom. We can't make you do anything. The blue pill, you take this glass of champagne, you get in this limo, and you have the best afternoon you've ever had. And what do you think he did?
Of course he got with you.
He got in the limo. Yeah, we bought him an outfit. We cooked him his favorite food. We interviewed him. We asked, how did you get treated in there? Why do you think you got treated like that? What does it mean to be in jail? What, and it turned out, David, I know this is not going to come off believable until you watch it. We pulled out an innocent guy who showed us on paper how he was innocent of his crime. He did not belong in there. He was instantly lovable. He's kind of like John Coffey from The Green Mile. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
Wow.
He looked like John Coffey. He even told us his friends call him John Coffey.
No way.
Yeah, and so what I don't want to spoil it, but I'll tell you this. He was in there because he failed he rented an Enterprise rental car for his cousin. His cousin disappeared with the car for like a week. Then returned the car. He was charged $4,700, which he showed us on paper from his bank account. He paid for the days missing. And then somehow a month later, he ran into police, a regular traffic stop, was arrested and said, hey, we got you on paper for car theft. They put him in jail basically as a mistake. And he proved to us that it was paid for and the car was returned. He showed us the email from Enterprise saying, we got the car. We're mad at you, but we got the car. And we pulled him out of jail on day 4. He still had 60 days to go and didn't have the money to get out. And then we talked to his mom. His mom was the sweetest lady ever. We cooked him whatever he wanted for dinner. We made a mistake. We brought him to our house. We threw a big dinner party. We took him gambling, of course.
Wow.
We bought it, and then we spent more than just that day with him. He actually became our friend. So we pulled him out of jail, and we treated him like a man. He told us the kind of some of the atrocities that were happening in there. Apparently, the Clark County Detention Center didn't even provide these guys water for the first 3 days they were in jail.
What?
So we're going to be kind of in hot water with certain, municipalities. Like these institutions are not going to be happy, but I honestly think we have some kind of shocking and compelling TV with it, because it's like it's more than just us messing around.
But
and
how lucky,
pranking
like
people.
things happen for a reason. I mean, this guy was picked out of lottery and he happens to be innocent, right?
Yeah.
And he happens to be like a good guy.
He was an ex-college football player, never been in trouble in his life. And he's within minutes of him talking, you just know it's true, because he's just a real simple guy, and we paid him $100 an hour, and he has no reason really to lie about anything, and
So wait a second,
it ended up being beautiful, man. It couldn't have been better than
How many hours were you with? You paid him $100 an hour to do this?
Yeah, and I told him we only needed him for 3 to 4 hours, and then when that time was up, I said, "You're free to go." He's like, "No, man, I want to hang out." So because at that time, David, we had 12 people in the house. We had a really fun environment. We had a mixture of people that all people that were meeting for the first time, cameramen, editors, Hollywood people, comedians, tattoo artists, musicians in the house. They were all kind of meeting. So he wasn't really the odd one out. Really, he joined the group, and everybody kind of took him in, and we spent like 7 extra hours with him because he wanted to hang out. It was really cool. I'm telling you, it's a really cool thing that happened.
I'm sure he was thankful.
Yeah, he was very thankful. I mean, and the thing is, too, we were prepared to hang out with a psychopath. You have to understand, like, we were ready for it to be Jeffrey Dahmer. You know, we were prepared for whatever. And my number one choice would have been get out a lovable guy that had a story to tell and something significant to say about the criminal justice system, you know, and he did. And it was amazing.
So how long in between releases of episodes? Because I can't wait for the next one.
You know, I honestly don't have an answer for you because it's up in the air how long it's going to take me to have $2,500 every time Charlie Queen is going to edit one of our episodes, because that's his name. His name's Charlie Queen. He's an award-winning filmmaker that's been making short films and comedy and winning awards all over the country for his films. And so he's kind of out of our league. He's really out of our league, but he's a friend of mine. But he told me, you know, from day one, I can only do this project for you, Pizza, if you make it worth my time to sacrifice these other opportunities that I have, which are plentiful. So, you know, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm hoping that once we get home, we're not going to be actively filming on location anymore. So I'm hoping that once we're home, we can just put all of our time and energy into editing what we've already got, which is, like I said, 100 to 200 hours of footage of Vegas, ranging from pranks to comedy skits to high roller poker tournaments to high roller experiences with, you know who Chris Audrain is, right?
Of course.
So Chris is a good buddy of mine now. So we've got the broke boy side of the story, which is me and Louie running out of money and going outside the cup to sell Bud Light on the street, you know, to make money to get in the poker tournament. We've got the degenerate side, and then we've got some experiences with people like Chris Audrain that take us to $200 steak dinners at the Bellagio too. So we've got this mixture of different content that all makes sense packaged into the story of a pro poker player and the strange and turbulent life of what it's like to live, you know, this life. But we live it in a kind of crazy way, though, too. You know,
how much was the guy's bail for car theft, though, Pizza?
Yeah.
Was it $500, $1,000, $5,000? What was his bail?
His bail was $1,432.
$1,400. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And let me tell you that on the day we bailed him out, we had about $1,600 total left in our entire budget. And I said, you know what? This is our golden goose. This segment has to be done. We actually had an actor that had flown all the way from Orlando in case we couldn't bail somebody out. We were going to have this guy pretend to be somebody that we bailed out just so we could get funny skits out of it and fake it. And actually on the way in the limo to film, he said, you know what? He was already in Vegas. He said, this might be bad for my image. I'm not going to do this. And he had already flown here. So I said, dude, you know, we are already in Vegas. This is, you know, 6 months in the works here. Just take me to the jail and I'll just bail him out as planned. The original idea was bail a real guy out of jail. We decided maybe if, you know, as a backup plan, we'll have this actor. The actor bailed on it. So I said, dude, screw it. Take me to the jail. I'll go in there. And so I went in there, dude. And we spent 8 hours. We went to 2 different jails and we ended up getting a guy named T. We'll call him T, out of Vegas Municipal.
Wow. All right. Hey, listen, and we can help any way we can. Is there a link you can send us that we can put up on our social media on how people can donate to what you're doing? Why don't you get that to me when you get a chance, and we'll get that up there.
Okay. Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah. Thanks a lot, man.
All right. Well, listen, I can't thank you enough. We got to get to a little bit of sports for the rest of our show.
Sure.
But listen, I thank you so much for giving me a call back and hanging out with us for the last half hour, man. I can't wait to see the next episode, and
cool.
I'm going to give you a call in the next few days, kind of off, you know, just kind of see how you guys are doing. And
sure, I'll send you the link for episode 2 right now, man. I thank you, David.
Yeah, I've seen it, but I'm talking about the link, how people can donate to your.
Sure. Okay. We can do that.
Yeah, right on. All right, thank you so much for your time. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, man. All right, bye.
All right, take care.
Let's take a little break, guys. That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah, I can't wait to see episode 3.
We're gonna have to. How do we get to it? It's pizza.
Poker
with pizza.
Poker with pizza. Yeah, you'll be able to find it.
Yeah, episodes.
There's not too much poker and pizza that go together, so yeah, you'll be able to see it.
Yeah,
that's the only one. Poker with pizza
on YouTube.
Yep.
All right, quick break, John.
Yeah, let's go to a quick break, guys. When we get back, we'll cover some college football and NFL futures. Let's do it. Sounds good, guys. We'll take a quick 2-minute break.
All right. I'm gonna get water. You want water?
I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
Get down. And we are back here at DraftKings at Casino Queen. And Damian, one thing that I wanted to go over was some NFL and college football futures on win totals and division winners as well. That's always fun to get into. One thing you can do here at DraftKings is you can parlay the division winners. That's kind of nice to get some value there. Talked about maybe Denver coming up in the AFC West a little bit. They have nowhere to go but up after that terrible year they had last year. You see anybody challenging Kansas City?
I think Denver's a bigger challenge, bigger threat than the Chargers are. Chargers still have not upgraded on defense. Keenan Allen's getting older. Mike Williams getting older. Justin Herbert's legit. I mean, he Austin Eckler's in a contract year. Don't look like they want to pay him. Like I said, I mean, Denver's got playmakers. They got one of the other NFL futures bets I made today. Actually, I bet Jerry Jeudy over 875 receiving yards. He's going to be the number one target in Denver. Denver's massively upgraded the offensive line. Ain't nobody in that division playing any defense other than Denver. I just really like that as a potential. Now, everybody knows I bet Denver to win the division, just because I really like the value on Denver winning the division.
What was it, 6-1?
Plus 550.
5-1.
Yeah,
550.
I just think that's great odds. But I'll tell you right now, if you want to bet something like, teams to win the division, and you want to parlay something, there's going to be a ton of San Francisco, Philadelphia, and Kansas City. I'm guessing that's going to be a very, very popular 3-team parlay as far as winning divisions. And I really would struggle to say don't bet it. So I don't know how, I mean, San Francisco should be, I think they're only minus 160, which kind of blows my mind.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Arizona's probably the worst roster in the NFL right now. If the Raiders aren't, it's Arizona. And the Raiders actually have a couple of really good players on both sides of the ball. But and the Rams, I mean, there is now some serious speculation about the Rams maybe potentially trading Aaron Donald to see what they can get for him. And the Rams have Cooper Kupp, and Matt Stafford's coming off of an injury. You don't know how he's going to recover. It's an elbow injury.
Yeah, who's going to challenge the Niners? I mean, Arizona, the Rams.
You guys, I mean, Seattle's going to be a fun team to watch. I mean, they have a ton of weapons on offense.
They have no business challenging the Niners.
Their defense isn't very good, but I mean,
and they're going to be hurting at quarterback. I mean, they're going to be average there.
Well, I mean, Geno Smith was surprisingly good last year, and like I said, they got it. I mean, everybody loves Seattle's draft. I was not somebody that loved Seattle's draft because I don't think Seattle drafted what they needed. But they got two very, very good playmakers. I mean, you only have one football to get around. Now they have 3 stud wide receivers to go with 2 very good running backs. But they don't. They needed help on defense, and they went ahead and drafted Smith-Njigba out of Ohio State, and then they drafted Zach Charbonnet in the 2nd round out of UCLA at running back. Both very good players, very, very explosive. I actually kind of think Charbonnet may be a better running back than Kenneth Walker already. Walker was a little too inconsistent for me. Not as good out of the backfield as Charbonnet will be. Not as elusive. I mean, Seattle can spread teams out with those 3 receivers, and I think Charbonnet would actually fit that offense better than Walker will. But I mean, Seattle to me should have upgraded on defense more than they needed those 2 playmakers on offense.
Yeah. Let's flip the other side of the coin here and get to some college over/under picks. I'm going to throw some numbers at you, Damian, or some teams, and you kind of tell me what you think their win total would be.
Now, I will tell you that sometime in the next 3 to 4 weeks is when I will really start looking at some of these college football teams. I did just bet one over already. I bet Kansas State over 8.5. They come back at plus 140. Kansas State won 10 games last year. They won the Big 12, beating TCU in the title game down in Texas. They returned 15 starters, including 10 on offense. Their whole offensive line, which is huge for continuity purposes. Now,
I like the bet. They're not losing 4 games.
They did lose Deuce Vaughn to the NFL, a 5th-round draft pick of the Cowboys. But honestly, running back's kind of one of the easiest positions to kind of replace. And
Yeah, it can be.
So
yeah.
so
Bringing back your entire offensive line says something.
yes, and I mean, so Texas also brings back their entire offensive line, but Kansas State, they're very, very well coached. I saw their 8.5 and a plus 140 juice, and I went ahead and bet it myself. And by the way, also if you remember last week, I was kind of cringing on Clemson. I'm like, as much as I hate to say it, I think they'll make the playoff and then lose in the first round of the playoff. Clemson to make the playoff is plus 320. Basically, all they got to do is win the ACC, and they will make the playoff. If they win the ACC, they're going to be in the playoff.
Yep.
And I remember we were talking about Clemson's schedule. All their tough games are at home.
At Florida State at home in September.
Yep.
Notre Dame at home. North Carolina at home.
Yep. All the tough games are at home.
They got to go to the Cox Nest at the Thanksgiving weekend, but we do nothing but go down to Columbia and win. So
I just think getting plus 320 odds on Clemson going to the Final Four, I think that's a real solid bet. I went ahead and took it.
Would have been there last year if DJ wouldn't have went 8 for 20 something with 90 something yards passing. Just a terrible performance. And then South Carolina barely squeezes out a victory with a quarterback going 8 for 20 something. So Dabo's not losing 2 in a row to those guys. So feel very good about him making the playoff this year. I think Cade Klubnik's going to be a household name like Trevor was, guys. Been saying it for a while. I think it's going to get there. Yeah, but let's start down in College Station with their win total. Where would you put Texas A&M at?
I tell you what, Jumbo Fisher could be on the hot seat. He's had some great recruiting classes, and he has very much underperformed with them. Remember, they're in the SEC West. Arkansas returns their quarterback and a lot of their players. LSU returns very much of their team. Obviously, he's going to have to deal with Alabama. I'm going to guess. I'm going to say Texas, and I believe Texas A&M still plays Arkansas. I already mentioned Arkansas. Excuse me.
Yep.
I'm going to guess Texas A&M is going to be 8.5 and maybe under juice.
Close. 8 is minus 120. There's a line on a book that has it 8.5 at plus 140.
Yeah. So well, good guess.
Yep. We talked about Kansas State. Let's see here. This is an interesting one. The Fighting Will Levises. Let's go to Lexington in Kentucky.
He's not in Kentucky anymore. Remember, I'm very anti-Will Levis.
Yeah.
Kentucky lost their quarterback. They lost their running back. They do play in the SEC East. I'm going to say Kentucky's going to be 7.5.
Yeah, close on that one. 6.5, and then some book had them 7 too. So that's a close one there. And let's pick another interesting one. Oh, this is an interesting one. The national runner-up from last year, the Horned Frogs of TCU.
They had some significant losses. I mean significant. I think at best.
And a lot of close wins last year.
They were very fortunate last year. I think at best they're probably the 5th best team and probably the 5th best odds in the SEC, or the Big 12. Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas State will all be better than them. I would probably think Oklahoma State would be better than them. So I'm going to say TCU's 7.
Yeah, close on that one. 7.5. 7.5.
And I very strongly probably maybe want to tell you to play the under on TCU. I said they were a very, very fortunate team last year. If it was an NFL thing, I'd be loading up on the under on TCU. The TCU opens the year playing Deion Sanders in Colorado.
Yeah. Yep.
That'll be the first game of the season. At TCU, like I said, they lost a lot of players. Colorado's basically remade their whole roster.
Yeah, they're a team that's hard.
That's going to be a hard team.
Yeah,
that's going to be a hard team to bet on or against to start the year. I might actually take Colorado, and I think the line was like 18 or something. I might actually take Colorado and 18 points in game one, just based on, Colorado. They did, Deion Sanders did bring that stud quarterback with him from his HBCU, and a couple of their other best players from that conference. They did transfer into Colorado. Colorado actually have some talent with Sanders, and through the portal, he did get some good transfer players as well. And I said, TCU just lost a lot of quality players. But
Let's go a little bit west of TCU. Let's stay in the Longhorn State in Texas. What are we thinking with Texas?
I'm guessing Texas is going to be the favorite to win their conference. I'm going to say Texas is going to be a 9.5 over.
That's exactly what they are. 9.5. 9.5.
I've done a little bit of research on a few teams. Some of the teams, like I have no idea what teams he was going to throw at me. I've done a little bit of research on the Big 12. I haven't done the SEC yet. Done a little bit on the ACC. I haven't done much on the Big 10 yet. I haven't done too much on the Pac-12 or the Pac-10, whatever's left out there yet. I haven't done too much. I don't consider the Pac-10 to be very good anyway. I said they got Caleb Williams, who'll be the number 1 draft pick. Nobody else in that conference plays any defense. And I don't particularly. I know some people think they'll be better than they are. That'll be the team. That'll be the conference where you don't see a team in the Final Four, just because USC don't play any defense either. USC is going to be. They're going to win a lot of 52-38 kind of games.
Yeah. Speaking of the Pac-12, looks like David's alma mater is struggling. The Sun Devils over under 4.5.
That's about what I'd have guessed.
4.5.
And not doing any research, I just know they're not very
Fighting Sun Devils.
Yeah. Arizona State. Herm left the cupboard bare. When Herm Edwards left, the cupboard
I'm
was
okay
bare.
with that.
But
I'm not okay with 4.5. But
they have a lot of good-looking college girls, and it's a great party school.
Yes.
So they have that
do you
to
know
fall
from
back
personal
on.
experience?
I do not know. I've read it a lot. Well, I've seen a lot of their school.
Wait,
their,
do you know who does?
You do. Dave will be telling us Arizona State party girl schools stories during the slow time the next couple of weeks.
I
sure.
honestly will not be telling any of those stories on camera if I want to stay married.
Or if he wants to stay employed.
or if my daughter might happen to watch this show. And no, we won't be telling any of those stories.
They'll
on
relay
camera.
them to me, and I'll tell them.
I'm happy to share off camera.
Let's go to another good
Thank
party
you.
school.
Thank you. Florida?
Nope. The Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina, the school at the beach.
Yep, that's a team I'm not going to hazard a guess on because I don't.
They lose Grayson McCall.
Yes, but
they lose their coach to Liberty. Jamie Chadwick going to Liberty.
I've done zero research on that conference or that school as far as what they bring back or what they've lost. So
that's your specialty.
I would not even hazard a guess. I'm not gonna insult anybody's intelligence.
John,
with that.
Well, the Chanticleers are 7.5.
What's a Chanticleer?
It's a mythical rooster.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the best rooster in the state of South Carolina, though.
That doesn't exist.
Well, they're both. I mean, you got the Gamecocks and you got the Chanticleers.
Yeah,
so
I got you. I'm kidding.
The Chanticleers is a much better school.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're in the beach.
You have
it's a party
for
school.
South
I mean,
Carolina, the Gamecocks.
Yeah, the University of South Carolina. The Cocks are the armpit of South Carolina. It is. It's the middle of the state. It's the industrial wasteland. It's hot, humid, no mountains, no beaches. It's just terrible. You can't even get a good meal driving through Columbia, South Carolina.
You know what he just described? St. Louis.
St. Louis.
And nah, I mean, but there's no beaches around here anyway. We're talking about a state with mountains and beaches and some, great history and stuff like that in South Carolina in that region. And then you got right in the middle is Columbia and this, industrial school that's just crap.
Missouri. You got the Ozarks and a nice lake. That's nice down there.
Not. We're talking about
St. Louis.
We're talking about the Grand Strand. But we're talking about that state, and in that state, that university happens to be the armpit of the state. Yeah.
So what's the like South Carolina? How many kids attend school there? 20,000.
Yeah, probably 40.
And
Let
how
me
many at
look.
Clemson?
30,000, something like that.
Really? In
Yeah.
that small little town?
Oh yeah, town of 13,000, 14,000
They can
people.
handle more. There's more college.
35,000
Wait a second,
students.
there's more
probably.
college students there than there are locals.
Yeah, one of the. If they call it the biggest town in America, the biggest little town in America. Yeah.
Wow.
Let's look here. Clemson enrollment. Enrollment. It's in the 30s. 2023. More than 20,000 students for those 45. Let's see here. That's a little lower than I thought.
20,000.
21,000 plus 4,500,
Right.
so about 25,000.
Now that's Clemson.
Yep.
Okay, look up South Carolina.
All right.
Let's
See
see what
here.
we got
Well, that's
here.
a state school, so I'm assuming
Yeah.
it'd be bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be bigger.
21,000 at Clemson's good. I mean, that's. Yet they get 80,000 in their
And they-
in
oh,
the
yeah.
stadium.
84,000,
Yeah, that's
83,000.
crazy.
Yeah. 26,000.
Okay, so 5 more thousand.
Yeah,
Now look up-
26,000
now, I'm gonna
people
take
that
a
just
guess.
don't know there's a better school.
Okay, so I'm going to
Yeah.
take a guess here, and this is
Well,
completely
maybe
a guess.
they couldn't get
Wait.
into Clemson.
In 1989,
Yeah.
when I went to Arizona State, they had 43,000.
It's 60,000. Arizona State 60.
83,000 is my guess.
Ooh, no, it ain't 83.
83.
It's in the 60s.
All right, let's just a guess. I'm going to guess stuff. Okay, there it is. 74,000.
74. Okay, it's getting
Almost
there. It's getting up there.
75,000
Wow.
students. Wow.
Wow. What's Ohio State's? That was always a big one. And
66,000.
66,000. Okay. Wow, everybody going out to the desert.
Yeah.
Going out to the desert.
Well,
Yeah.
you're a guy. You've seen the girls, and that's why you're going there.
And you know what?
Yep.
The girls are at least 2-1. They were when I went
Well,
to
that's
school.
pretty
Yep.
much at all the colleges.
So what we're saying is there's a lot more smarter girl than there is
I
guys.
don't know about that.
Or the guys are smart for going to those schools. One of the two.
Yeah.
I will say though that it was I mean, ASU's got a good reputation for their academics too. And they got a great law school.
Okay.
I never made it there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I had trouble making. I got this great idea my first semester, and all my friends laughed at me. I had 7:30 classes, 7:30 and 8 o'clock classes.
In
They
the
go,
morning?
In the morning, they
Ooh,
said
yeah.
you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Why would you ever? And I said, well, I want to get school out of the way and have the rest of the day. They go, you're not even going to bed till 5 in the morning. I didn't click. And then my second semester, I got smart and did
Yeah.
afternoon classes. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another interesting school lost a good running back, lost some players. The Fighting Illini of Illinois.
Who's their coach?
Brett Bielema,
How
the old
long's Lovey been
Arkansas
gone?
coach.
How long's Lovey been gone?
Oh, Lovey's been gone 3 years or
Not
something.
that much?
No, I think last year was Bielema's first year.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say Illinois 6.5.
Close. Illinois. Oh, no, that is it. Illinois 6.5 on the number.
All right, Mizzou. What do you got?
On the number. Mizzou's not on this list. Let me look. What do you think, Damien?
5.5.
Oh, I think I would
And
say
that's just-
6.5.
And that's just because I just can't stand Mizzou.
Well, you got to take that
They're
factor out.
well, I mean, they do get a bye because they do play Vanderbilt. That's one win. I think they play Southeast Missouri State. That should be another win.
What do we got?
They might be 6.
Is it not showing it?
Yeah, it'll show. I just got to find it.
Okay.
Usually season totals skew a little high because people want to bet overs on season totals. So they might be 6.5 under juice. Mizzou's not good.
Yeah, the under would be the higher juice.
Yeah.
Not finding it.
Yeah, 6.5.
Wow.
Yep,
It should be
6.5.
5.5. Mizzou's not winning 7 games.
So the under.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like them winning. I like them winning 7. I like them going 7-5. Brady Cook coming back. You got some athletes that could have went pro that came back. Yeah, I like them. Yeah, I like them winning 7 games. I'd take that over.
Before we forget tonight, tomorrow night, Saturday night, a friend of the show.
Oh, Evan Elder's fight Saturday.
Evan Elder is
Yeah.
fighting
Yep.
Saturday night at the Apex.
Live on ESPN.
Live on ESPN. That's right.
Yep, so
Looking
check out
forward to that. Yeah. early Saturday evening.
He recovered quick from that cut he had on his eye.
That was nasty.
Oh,
That's nasty. Yeah.
so we'll be watching Evan for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to send him some well wishes. I'm going to text him and just say, no, we're thinking about him. And he said he would be coming on shortly after his fight.
We all wish him luck.
Yeah, he's going to come on the show shortly after. I can't wait till he's in an arena, a big one, that we can go out and actually go to it.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I don't want to
sure.
pay $1,500.
Woo,
That's the
$1,500.
cheapest seat, and they only hold like a couple hundred people
I have no clue.
at the Apex. Yeah, it's a small little arena. He's fighting in there again.
Yeah.
So yeah, just wanted to let everybody know that Evan's fighting Saturday night on ESPN.
And what do we think about the Michigan Wolverines? Where are you putting them at, Damian?
Remember, I haven't done much on the Big Ten. I'm just trying to go off the top of my head from what I remember. They pretty much bring a lot back. I'm gonna say Michigan's 9.5, probably
10.5.
slightly over.
Wow.
10.5.
Okay.
10.5 for the. And it's weird because Michigan's 10.5, Ohio State's 10.5 too. So you can't really bet both of them on the over because they're going to play each other at the end of the year.
Exactly. You know, and Penn State's not going to be a gimme either.
Yep.
Boy, that's a. I'm
Going to play that pesky Notre Dame game they play.
Yeah.
What's Notre Dame?
That's a good question.
Let's see. Notre Dame goes to Clemson. Plays Michigan. I'm going to guess Notre Dame's 8.5. Well, they did get the kid from Wake Forest, Hartman.
Yeah.
Notre Dame might be a 9, slightly under.
Let's look here. 8.5. They're at 9 at one book. Another one book has them 9.
What's the line? Minus what?
8.5 is anywhere from -125 to -110.
That's over.
So
Yep. The
What's
over.
The under stronger. -120.
Well,
I said
you
9
got to
under 8.5. You know, I mean that's right where
figure the under. If the over 8.5 is at one book -125, then the under would have to be coming back at what, even or -110.
Yeah.
Yep. And the Kansas Jayhawks, I'm not going to get them anymore at 2.5, folks. That was my best pick for totals last year, and I got it on the third game of the year. They went 3-0. They were 3-0 after the third game. Their win total was 2.5.
They
2.5.
I believe they started 6-0 and ended 7-5.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where do you put them at this year?
I'm going to say they're 6.5.
Yeah, 5.5 actually. 5.5. And 5.5 -150.
Wow.
That's pretty steep overjuice. That may reach 6.
Yep, minus
I don't like that.
150.
-150.
Yep. If you remember, the quarterback from Oklahoma State transfers to Ole Miss now, Sanders.
Yeah.
So now Lane Kiffin's going to have a very athletic, very playmaking quarterback in Sanders. So with that being said, where are we putting the Rebels of Ole Miss?
Well, I mean, being they're playing Alabama, Arkansas, LSU, Texas A&M. I believe Ole Miss lost. They lost Mingo. They lost. They had some significant losses. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say they're 6.5. I don't think. If it's much higher than that, you should play the under.
Every book I see has them at 7.5.
I mean, I have to look and see which schools they get at home and which ones they get on the road. But I mean, yeah, they do have a very good quarterback, but I still struggle to see them beating Alabama, LSU, or Arkansas. And A&M is going to be more talented than they are. I haven't, like I said, I haven't fully done all that much. I don't know what else they brought in, but they lost some players. So
this is a team a lot of people are going to be watching. Hugh Freeze going down to Auburn. Well, that's going to be interesting. You don't know what to expect, really.
No.
They got their guy. He was the guy they were going after. So they put all their marbles to the front of the table and said, "Give us Hugh Freeze." So they got their guy, but they're sitting at 6.5 and 7. 6.5 and 7.
I mean, I have to look at their schedule, see who they got at home, who they got on the road.
Yep.
I honestly don't think Hugh Freeze is that much of a difference maker.
Yeah, I mean, coaching means a lot. Look what he did at Liberty. Look what he did at Ole Miss before he got in trouble.
I understand, but he also had, he was able to get a quality quarterback at
Yep,
Liberty.
and Malik Willis. Yep,
And
he got him from Auburn, actually.
Yeah, so, I mean, he was able to, yeah, exactly. So, Auburn, from what I remember, Auburn didn't have much at quarterback last year, and they didn't recruit very well from what I remember either. Last time I read up on their recruiting.
We got to get Micah in on this conversation.
Oh yeah, Micah's Auburn alum. He went to that kick six game, one of the best games in college football history,
So Micah,
for sure.
our UFC expert, Micah Mills, went to Auburn and knows a little college football, doesn't he, John?
Yeah. He went to a few games when he was at Auburn.
A little chance tomorrow. What do we got lined up for tomorrow? We got Micah Mills reviewing UFC 290.
Yep.
And we got a possible maybe intern going to be joining us tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, she's going to come by and see what we do and come on air with us for a little while.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. So that'll be interesting.
The Georgia Bulldogs, though, sitting at 11.5.
Under?
There's 12 games, folks.
What's the under?
Got to be like minus 160 or 170.
Over 11.5 is plus 120. Under has to be, like you said, probably 140. I'd imagine.
Probably
150. Yeah,
Does it
150
not
ish.
say it?
Usually,
I don't
yeah,
see
usually
this one don't have it.
on
But
these, usually it's like, you get like a good 30 or 40 cents.
the Georgia Bulldogs sitting at 11.5.
You like the under?
Yes, I like the under.
Are you taking?
It's
taking
hard
your?
not to see them lose at least one game, as much as they're replacing.
Yeah, Mizzou had them last year. Had them going into the fourth quarter.
I'm still not happy. Ryan's still not happy about that game.
Yeah. We're going to have Ryan come back and join us.
Yeah, Ryan's going to hopefully come back and join us. We've been missing Ryan, but he's waiting for football, he said.
Well,
right.
When Mizzou goes down to Georgia this year, they're going to get absolutely blasted.
I mean, it's Georgia should, I mean, there's a big difference in talent.
Georgia's going to win that game 52-3 when they go down there.
Ooh, I don't know about 52-3. That's hard to beat somebody 52-3.
Georgia will remember the game from last year, and they will go out and prove a point.
Yeah. Let's see if there's any other interesting ones on here. This is kind of an interesting one. The Washington Huskies. Michael Penix coming back at quarterback. They were decent last year.
I haven't done much Pac-12, but I would probably say they're 8.5.
Yeah, close 9.5. Yeah, they bring a strong quarterback back. They're going to win games 38-35, stuff like that.
I'm not a big Penix guy, but I mean he's okay. He's better than Oregon State, which should be about 4.5. Oregon State actually returns a lot of players. I do know that.
Hey, what's Nebraska at?
Oregon State, thankfully, gets DJ Uiagalelei. So thankfully, DJ's going to Oregon State.
They do return a lot of players.
Yeah.
Other than their crappy quarterback.
What's Nebraska?
Yeah, what is Nebraska?
6.5. They're just a team that you don't know what to expect because of Matt Rule coming in and
new coach,
brand new everything. It's
Matt Rule.
That's who it is.
Yeah. Matt Rule, first year.
Huh?
Is he
Yeah.
first year?
First year.
First year. Yeah, they got rid of Crouch.
Yeah, Scott Frost.
Scott Frost.
Yeah.
Frost.
Yeah.
What about Oklahoma?
Oklahoma. This is a surprising one.
What do you got?
What would you put Oklahoma as?
I'm gonna say 9.5 over.
That's exactly what they are. They're 9.5.
Amen. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I said I'm guessing they're probably the second favorite behind Texas in that conference. Y'all notice I played Kansas. I might go in there and play Kansas State to win the conference at plus 500.
Yeah.
I might
get some value.
I just have to look and see if Kansas State goes to Texas and Oklahoma. I don't remember. Something tells me they go to both schools this year, but I'm not positive.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
I'm going to say they're 10.5 over.
Yep, that's what they are. Under's the favorite, actually.
Yeah. Like I said, as we discussed,
they have their quarterback situation is as bad as anybody's in America.
As much as we discussed about a month ago or whatever, Dave could go in and play quarterback on that team.
Dave could not go play quarterback.
Yes, you could. You could go in and play quarterback, and they'd have
I'd
the
be
same
out
win
in one
total.
play. I'd be out on the handoff. I'd find a way to get
Oh,
permanently injured on handing the ball off.
only if somebody cheap shotted you, got through the offensive
No,
line.
I
and
would
cheap
just
shot you.
turn and I would break a hip or something.
As bad as their quarterback is, they've got a stud offensive lineman coming in as a freshman, and their offensive line's in very good
Yeah,
shape.
they return a lot of their roster from
Yep.
last year.
They do.
A lot of the, especially on the offensive line, they're playmakers. You know, Alabama's going to be rock solid. They just don't have a quarterback, and that'll come back and haunt them in some game somewhere along the way. So weren't they play Texas week 2, don't they? Was it Alabama and
Yeah,
Texas week 2?
They got to go to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah,
Hey, we got about 10 minutes left. Anything in the NFL? Any news? Anything? Any changes? Anything?
well, it is now officially official that the Jets will be on Hard Knocks.
Okay.
Uh, the NFL
Officially official.
It's officially official. I told you guys that last week they'd be on Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
And the NFL and the Jets are not happy.
I don't understand why they're not happy.
They did not want to be on Hard Knocks. Quite honestly,
It's not going anywhere.
they didn't have a choice.
Well, I'm just saying the show's not going anywhere. I thought it was better. We've talked about this before. I thought it was better. Like David watches the show all the time. Says the first one was the best one with the Ravens.
Absolutely. I agree with you, David.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
That one was hard to beat.
I have no interest in watching Hard Knocks.
Oh, I love
I
it.
hadn't watched it in years,
It's
but
not as good.
that first one was really good 20 years ago.
You know what was great about the ones
or
before?
22 years
They
ago.
don't show like releasing the players in steps like they used to do that. Now it's just like it's not the
Oh,
same.
yeah. That was
Yeah,
fun.
That was
I remember
fun, how
the
they
Ravens
release
when
players in
Ozzie
steps.
Newsome would bring them in and
Yeah.
they'd show
They
it
don't
where,
do that
yeah.
anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, I missed
Oh.
that part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a constant battle between the production of the show and the team.
Yeah.
The team's going to want to do nothing. The production's going to want everything.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. The Jets are taking on the Browns in the first game of the year in preseason, though.
Oh, that preseason.
The Hall of Fame game, August the 3rd in Kent.
I said Browns and the Bengals are good. Are week 1 in the NFL.
Yep.
Another thing I might go in there and do. I might bet the Jets week 1 at home to Buffalo. They're getting 1.5. I may go in there and do that
That's
too.
it?
Yeah. Well, Buffalo's a favorite.
I know. I'm just saying
It's in New York. It's a road game.
Okay. They're really. I mean, the Jets' defense is great. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just signed Quentin Williams to a huge contract, $25 million a year.
Ooh,
And I bet the Jets. I
Guaranteed?
bet the Jets.
Guaranteed?
Let me look. I think so.
guarantee.
You got $95 million. I bet the Jets. I bet the Jets to win the division. I might as well double down on it. Bet the
What do we
Jets
got?
week 1.
Was I? No, that was right. 4 years, $96 million.
What's guaranteed?
4 year, third.
You got what?
$21 million signing bonus. $32 million guaranteed.
And that guy's worth it.
Hmm.
He's very, very good. The Jets have a stud on all 3 levels of their defense.
We talked about this.
Only got nowhere to go but up.
Well, but we talked about this last week. Who's Rodgers have to throw to again?
Oh, Garrett Wilson. I bet the over on his touchdowns. I'm sure I'll bet the over on his yards. I love the kid. He's a legitimate number 1 wide receiver.
I like their defense.
Oh, they have the best defense in the division. I'm a defense guy. Your defense plays well every week.
Let's see if we got a shot on your ticket. Whip the ticket out.
Oh, hey.
By the way,
I won't be doing that on camera either.
That ticket right here.
The other
That's the
NFL
one we
season
need.
bet I made today was I bet Treylon Burks over 725 yards for the Titans. I really liked him coming out of college. He's going to be the number 1 threat down in Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee's going to be very good. They're going to have to throw the football a lot, and he's a freak athletically.
Where'd Mariota land? Is he still backing up on Atlanta?
He's backing up in Philly, I believe now.
Really?
I believe he went to Philadelphia.
He had 1 year in Atlanta.
Yeah, well, he played about 11 games.
Yeah.
And he sucks he was brutal last year.
No good?
Overtime.
That's not good.
God,
if
we
you
got
bet the
under
over.
179.5, and the dang thing goes to overtime to beat us.
Oh.
Brutal. God almighty. So
169
180 plus
Yeah.
180 plus 13, yeah, 193.
169 was.
Overtime beat us, David.
Yeah. What about the others?
They're still, I don't know if they started yet.
That's what we do. First game, Out. Goodbye.
And that is why
Brutal.
I don't play NBA crap, G League, Summer League stuff at all.
Yeah, just hey,
I
it's just
don't
a
know.
throwing darts, you know.
Well, yeah, you're throwing darts on people you've never seen play basketball before. That's
Yeah,
literally what
you got to
you're
have
doing.
something tonight, though.
You don't have to.
Yeah, oh yeah, we had to.
You can take a, you can
Had
take a,
to.
you can take a day off.
What?
Not
What's
today.
wrong
We're
with
here
you?
amongst the action today.
I took a day off. I played my played my NFL stuff.
You're
I
a
didn't
little
play
warm.
anything-
Damien, you're
I
a
didn't
little
play anything
warm.
for today.
He's a little warm.
Yeah, we're amongst the action. We got to get into something today. I turned about $15 into $58, so I'm happy.
Well, then
And I'm about to go put it on some CFL. What do you think of that, Damien?
Well, you know what happens when your
I
first
think you
bet's
have issues.
You know what happens when your first bet is $15? Means you're busted.
Yeah.
That just means you were wanting to do a little splash, just a little splash. That's all.
He has a different definition for everything. I call it busted. He calls it a splash.
That's what it was. There's nothing to bet a significant amount on.
I
It's,
understand.
you're making a little splash,
I am.
you know, splashy splash.
When's
That's
baseball
all.
come back?
Friday, tomorrow.
I'd rather splash for a soda.
Yeah. Well, you got to do something tonight.
Or
you
you
know.
could start betting horses, Damien.
No,
Yes.
I'll let you. You can have the horses. I know what I don't know, and I don't know horses,
And you
8
shouldn't know
p.m.
it.
and I'm not going to.
Speaking
The only thing more boring than horse racing to me is auto racing.
But,
Ah,
you can bet it.
Maybe the WNBA,
Hey, and
that might be more boring.
speaking of auto racing, friends of the show, Tom Bomarito, friends of mine,
All right.
and Tom Bomarito has asked me if I wanted to go to the Bomarito 500 here at Gateway the last few years, and
Do you
I
want to
think
go?
I am. I'm going to go to I'm going to see if Tom's still open to the idea. I've refused him a couple times, but I think I'm going to see what it's like, and I'm sure he'll send me in first class style.
My advice,
Right?
my advice to you
These
is
sponsors-
don't shower or use any deodorant for 4 days before you get there because you'll smell like everybody else smells.
That's terrible. Okay?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's about accurate because I haven't actually been to an auto race, but I've been around a lot of the people that go to the auto race, and they
say it's a blast.
Yeah, but they don't. Well, that's
Absolute blast.
Well, we'll see what happens there,
we
guys.
need nose plugs.
Yeah,
I'll put it that
Let's
way.
wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll see what happens
We
there at
gotta
the
wrap it
auto racing world. But yeah, for Clemson, John, David, and Damien,
And wait, and Dollar Bill.
and
y'all.
Dollar Bill giving us some tennis, some
Yeah.
Wimbledon stuff
Dollar
for
Bill,
sure.
y'all.
Yeah.
Definitely
Join-
appreciate it. And for Pizza for joining us.
Oh
from
yeah,
Vegas.
and
pizza. Yeah,
pizza.
Gotta
absolutely.
thank Pizza for joining us.
Oh,
from
he's
Vegas.
fantastic.
Absolutely.
Wait, tomorrow on join us tomorrow night, 6:00 on 590 The Fan. John and I and Micah Mills and Jade's gonna join us.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
tomorrow night, 6:00, 590 The Fan.
See you guys then.